Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Daily Blues here on 100% Chelsea. All the latest news and rumours to do with Chelsea Football Club and discussions now, seeing as the transfer window is over. Joining me today is Daniel, son of Chelsea, and Louis.
You alright guys, how you doing?
What's up?
so East End. You alright guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
Right. What we're going to talk about today is the top five Jose Mourinho signings at Chelsea. Now, before I get to the to Mourinho signings at Chelsea, I need to bring up his daughter Matilde. Did any of you see Matilde at the award ceremony with him?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Eunice.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I've been on the. You know me. I've been trapped in a cell. What's going on? Do I need to look this up?
Basically, there was Men of the Year awards. I think it was GC magazine who did Men of the Year awards, and Mourinho decided to take his daughter, and she made the headlines a lot more than her dad. I'll just tell you that.
My God!
Listen, I'll tell all of you lads now. All right, Matilde is a special one.
She has grown up quite a lot. Wow.
I mean, yeah. Moving on. I mean, Jose's definitely come up with something special there. That's all I can say.
Oh mate, he's got strong swimmers, hasn't
he? Anyway, to his top 5 signings at Chelsea Football Club. Right, we've got a load of options. All right, a load of options. And remember, we're going to combine both his first time at Chelsea and his second spell, which is now. So if we do go back to his first spell, let's list some players. We'll list some players, all right? Paulo Ferreira, the most professional player I think Chelsea have ever had, except from Frank Lampard, I reckon. He never complained.
True, he did. He was really strong at that. And then the way sort of when he wasn't playing right towards the end, and he was just saying, "I want to thank you guys for everything you've done." All that's professionalism at the top mark, isn't it? And that's a great aspect to have.
Yeah. Paulo Ferreira. We had the legendary Iron Robin. Robin quality. Now, a lot of people think that Cech was bought by Mourinho. Not the case. Ranieri got Peter Cech. Just to let you guys know, it wasn't Mourinho. Mourinho found Cech at Chelsea, which worked pretty well to his disposal. Makelele as well, another player that Mourinho did not get. Ranieri got him.
Ashley Cole, Drogba, Essien, Carvalho, Ivanovic, do you, Kalu?
Yeah. He just laid down the smackdown.
No, he didn't buy Ivanovic. I know that.
No, he didn't. That's what I was thinking.
But Ivanovic was bought by Scolari, I believe.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
He was.
Just as soon as Mourinho left, after Avram Grant, Ivanovic came to Chelsea after that. But yeah, you mentioned Drogba. Other signings he got. Well, Thiago, Kezman, Yarosik.
I don't really remember much about Kezman.
I remember Kezman when he scored that goal against Liverpool in the Carling Cup final.
I remember when he scored the goal against Scunthorpe. Funny story, by the way. There's a joke in my family because basically my brother has decided several times to get players' names on the back of his shirt. 2 of the names he's got of new Chelsea players were Sean Wright-Phillips and Matthias Kezman. Neither of them worked out. So when Costa signed last year now, I told him adamantly, you are not getting Diego Costa on the back of your shirt. And, he didn't get on the back of his shirt.
I had the issue with the past 3 seasons. The past 3 numbers I've got of the players I liked all left. I had Mata, Lampard and Schürrle. They all went.
Well, I mean, Mata, understandable, went to United.
Yeah, it is understandable, isn't it?
Lampard, really understandable.
Yeah.
Could no longer play. And who else did you mention?
Schürrle.
And Schürrle, that one baffled me.
Yeah, that did.
But hey. That was his 04-05 season. We had Drogba, Carvalho, legend,
yeah.
John Terry's epic partner. Do you remember his goal against Man United?
Yes, that was a goal.
It's so difficult to. I mean, just before we came on our Eunice, we were talking about different signings and trying to compile them into a top five, and also compiling the signings he made in his first spell to the recent ones. I mean, he has made some absolutely top signings. I mean, you look through that list. I mean, people talk about the signings that hasn't worked out. I mean, for me, it's just the amount of signings that have worked out for him are just ridiculous. You know, you look at the players and you think trying to compile these into a top five. I mean, I've got four of them, and even some of those could be debatable, you know, in terms of just the players that could come in. Carvalho, I mean, what a player he was, just absolutely a brilliant partner for Don Terry, you know, his experience, technically how he was, you know, and that goal against United, you know, the celebration, you know, he did after, was it the third goal, and when that goal went in, I mean,
third one.
That was brilliant. So it's really tough to kind of pick out five of the best. So hopefully, as we were kind of discussing Eunice beforehand, we may put the fifth one, which is kind of a debate from my point of view, to the comments, you know, because I think that one, in my opinion, you know, I can't really decide at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. Carvalho's goal against Man United was legendary, and for a centre back to just whack it like that, pretty good goal. Pretty good goal. But
Ashley Cole.
Well, that came after.
He signed Ashley Cole, but he didn't play under Mourinho, I guess. But he signed.
Did.
Did he? You know, but he didn't play like regularly. He was always sort of in and out. He wasn't, because he got injuries and stuff. He wasn't a regular star. I remember that.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Hey, I mean, that 06-07 season was pretty much Ashley Cole.
Yeah, it was, but Mourinho left him.
It was Wayne Bridge took the back seat, really.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like beforehand, it was sort of, you know, just forget it. No, you know what? Don't worry.
He had Ashley Cole for the there was whole of that transfer embargo, and then we got him, and Jose only he had the 06 and 07 season, and then of course we all know what happened in, what was it, September of 2007. So really he only had about a season with Ashley Cole at first. You know, of course he came back, but only really, and actually think about it, he's only had 2 seasons in truth with Ashley Cole. You know, if you look through Jose's Mourinho, 2 seasons, because of course Ashley Cole left at the end of the 13-14 season. So that's kind of weird, and considering he was one of the best signings. I mean, one of the things I was talking about before when we talked about what was it, Friday I think it was, we talked about what does Jose Mourinho mean to Chelsea fans. Well, getting those players in, and it's left a legacy, because you saw what those players did when Jose left the club and kind of the mentality they kind of brought. So, I mean, just absolutely signings that you've just seen that have gone on for years, and maybe had their peak years when Jose wasn't there, and maybe we weren't playing that well, but they were still there, and they were still because Jose Mourinho signed them.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. We get to the 05-06 season was where he brought in quite a lot. I'll list some. The Lord. The Lord made his entrance into Chelsea Football Club.
Lord Mikel is going on the list.
I knew you'd say that. He's probably going number 1 for you, isn't he?
No, actually, at the minute he's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's number 7. Look, you can see that already.
All right. John Obi Mikel, Ben Saha, for anyone who remembers him. I do remember him very briefly. The guy that Mourinho This is the guy that Mourinho signed without knowing he'd signed. Shevchenko.
Are you really putting him in there?
No, of course not. No, no chance. But I find that story funny. Apparently Mourinho showed up to Cobham for training and found Shevchenko there in Chelsea gear without even knowing. Can you believe that?
I mean, we've been tracking Shevchenko for years. I mean, it was one signing that Abramovich clearly wanted. He wanted him back in 05, you know. He was a signing that Abramovich personally wanted to buy. And I think that's why probably, even though it was even a season before Jose left, you know, more than that, I think it started to show why there may have been a falling out between Jose and the board, because, you know, it's decisions like that, when you, as a manager, when you turn up and you see a player, you know, of Shevchenko's quality, of we thought, you know, like it would have been a good signing, but any manager, no matter who it is, you know, it feels like you're being undermined, and no manager, especially one with Jose's track record, even at that time, you know, of his career, you know, still is very disrespectful. So I guess that may have been a reason why Shevchenko didn't really play as much as he wasn't really a first team regular, was he? I mean, not to the extent of a Drogba or even a Johnson, who I think was still at the club at that point. He still played players in front of him, in front of Shevchenko. So
Yeah.
I think he was kind of putting his foot down, and that's where maybe there started to be a little bit of tension between him and the board.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was where it began, really. The moment the Shevchenko thing happened, the tension began, and never repaired until when Jose came back to Chelsea. So, Shevchenko, Kalou,
Really?
pretty good signing.
I don't think Kalou was that great. I never rated him personally.
Didn't you? I thought he was a great super sub. Not super sub. But...
No, I think Kalou was very frustrating as a Chelsea player. He at times he could look like quite a good striker, and at other times you just thought when he was brought on, you thought he's just not going to score a goal. I think for most of the time, if I'm being blunt about it, I don't think he was very, very good. I think he was more of a. I think, if you compare him when he was even around, funny enough, he played in the Champions League final, which kind of, once again, I mean, we've talked about the Champions League final before, about the players that played in that game, Basingwa, Kalou. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Kalou's an awful player, but I mean, if you're playing at Chelsea, you've got to be at a certain level. But
if you think about what he's done since he went final, Chelsea, Lille, Hertha Berlin.
Oh, wow. That's depressing.
Exactly.
That's depressing. But Kalou. I thought Kalou was that good guy to bring on. I think Kalou was consistently average, so he wouldn't be incredible and he wouldn't be crap. He'd just be consistently average.
Yeah. So that's a good thing, is it? Being average in a Chelsea team.
Consistently as a sub. Why not?
Sometimes they say it's actually better to be like they say about like movies, for instance. I know this is a really bad analogy. That you'd rather be a bad movie than an average movie, because people remember bad movies. They don't remember average movies. So it's exactly. You probably want to be an awful kind of player that played for Chelsea than one that was just kind of forgotten and kind of quite average, Because then in years to come, people will look back and go, remember that Demba Ba bloke? He didn't really score a lot of goals for us, but somehow managed to put the ball in the back of the net several times at key moments.
Yeah.
It's like The Room, isn't it? If you think about it, that if you're talking film analogies, do you know The Room?
Yes.
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. This is like I can't get it.
That went over everyone's head.
I was expecting a laugh then, but it didn't come, did it? I had to humiliate myself first. Thanks for that.
Well, it did come afterwards. You're hilarious. Anyway.
It came afterwards because I said, okay, fine, forget it. That's why it came.
Well, moving on from Kalou, we got Michael Ballack.
Did he sign Ballack?
He did. On a free.
Going on the list.
Free transfer.
Sorry, Lord, you're currently in second right now, if you ask me. Ballack is the best out of all of those.
Ballack was a great player for us. The unfortunate thing about it was, I think he could have probably achieved more at Chelsea. Yeah. He kind of came in at that point where he stayed with Mourinho for one season, a bit like Ashley Cole, was there with him for his full kind of last season, and of course left, and there was a lot of turmoil, and then he stayed up to, 10-11. I think he left at the end of 10-11. Yes. So he was able, funny enough, he was able to stay. He was a really key part in the 9-10 season with Ancelotti's first year, which I thought he was brilliant at. So, he could go in that list. I'd probably maybe put a player above him, in front of him, just because I think the player I'd put in front of Ballack, for me, was part of a better team and kind of maybe impacted more, but that doesn't mean that Ballack was not a good player. As we say, it's very tough. It's very tough, and I think Ballack was a key. I remember when he came to Chelsea, people saying, "Oh, he's past his prime," and then you look what he did at Chelsea, just banging in the goals, impacting. I think maybe sometimes he was kind of the negative effect of competing alongside Frank Lampard. I think sometimes that may have affected him because he wasn't the key central midfielder, and he never was going to be with a player like Lampard, who was in that 2009-10 season, he was banging in 30 goals, and it's always going to be tough to compete with a guy like Lampard, who was at that time already well established at Chelsea. So maybe that affected him, but scored some key penalties, scored some key goals. You know, was a part of some great moments and some bad moments for Chelsea. So definitely one of the top Jose signings, no doubt.
I reckon. I remember. Well, one key moment with Ballack was when he chased the referee against Barcelona.
Oh God, I remember that. God, right at the end, he was getting right in his face.
Yeah.
God, I tell you what, I couldn't do that. He's a big, scary German bloke. I'd be going, oh, okay, just leave me alone. That's what I mean. I'd just be cowering. I'd be like, I need you to just let me run away, please.
No, Ballack was quality. But the next man I'm going to mention is someone who I feel had more impact, Michael Essien.
Yes, that's good call.
Michael Essien. I think after the Makelele, after Makelele established the Makelele role, Essien took over very nicely.
I think what Essien brought was kind of a different element to the Makelele role.
Yeah.
In a way, he kind of brought a bit more power, a bit more pace, more goal threat, and he kind of brought that attacking side to the game, but was still able to defend, when his legs were there. Of course, in his later years, his kind of legs kind of went.
He's at Panathinaikos now. It's ridiculous.
And
I miss him.
I think what he did was he was just a brilliant player. And in that 05-06 season, when I remember Chelsea signing him, Peter Kenyon being really happy about getting the deal over the line, because I remember Man United and a load of big clubs were in for him, and for us kind of to get him under. I think it was past when the season had started that year, and I remember Chelsea signing him, and it was a really good kind of signing because so many big English clubs were after him, and also in Europe. So to get him on our books was just a stroke of genius by the board, and as well by Jose, because clearly knew he needed another element and more power to that midfield, which helped us in the long run. Because when Makelele wasn't the key figure anymore, Essien stepped right in.
Exactly, he did. Essien I loved. As we spoke about before we went on air, it's two moments for me. The goal against Arsenal that he smashed in that Highbury. It was Highbury, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
No, it was Stamford Bridge. No, the game.
It was Highbury.
No, it was Stamford Bridge. It was a Stamford Bridge because we were losing 1-0. Hilario was in goal. We were losing 1-0. Ashley Cole apparently made a foul against an Arsenal player, and we went up the other end and scored. You can research this. It was at Stamford Bridge.
What, the 2-2, where he smashed in the second goal and equalised?
2-2? Don't you mean 1-1?
Oh, Eunice!
1-1.
We're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go. Trust me, I know my facts on this. We're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go. Rosicki scored that goal that game. We were 1-0 down, and Essien scored a late equaliser. Everyone bundled over him. So search Essien goal versus Arsenal, and that will be it. 1-1 is the game ended.
Round 1 over. Okay, cool.
All right, Louis. But that and the Barcelona goal that he smashed in, hit the bar and went in. That was incredible. And I think that goal got voted. Was it goal of the tournament that year?
From Essien?
Yeah, against Barcelona.
Yeah, I think it did. It did. But
goal of the tournament.
I've got a signing here which I thought was okay. I thought he might be further down. It might not be top 5, but I thought he did okay. Diarra, maybe not a greatest signing, but the sign of Diarra.
Diarra was absolutely quality. I don't know. Did you guys ever see the behind the scenes stuff? When Jose was first at the club.
Yeah.
And it was the African group. So you had Drogba, Essien, Makelele, Jeremy, and Diarra.
I think they were all dancing after we won the FA Cup against United.
No, yeah, well they did, yeah. But no, this was at training. This was at Cobham.
Yeah.
And there was a joke at the time going around that Diarra was Jeremy's son, and Diarra would call Jeremy Daddy. At Chelsea, it's banter.
Diarra was.
Is that? Do you reckon that's where "Trust Me, Daddy" comes from? Like he says, "Pass me the ball." Trust me, Daddy. Come on, pass me the ball.
Do you know? Just on Lassana Diarra, I remember because he was brought in, and he also, if I remember rightly, was a defensive midfielder as well. or he was a central kind of midfielder, you know. And I remember he was brought in. Everyone was tipping him to be a brilliant player. I know he moved on to Real Madrid, funny enough, after he played for us. I think the problem was his attitude. You know, a bit like Kevin De Bruyne in a way. I remember. If I get this right, I could be wrong on this one, but I remember his attitude kind of being a problem, and he was kind of getting annoyed because he was being stuck behind Essien and Makelele and Lampard. You know, he wasn't playing as much as he thought he deserved to. So I think that was a problem for him. He clearly had quality. He's technically good. You know, I thought he could have developed into a player, but he was a bit like in kind of a Kevin De Bruyne kind of situation where he wanted too much too quickly, and Jose doesn't like those sort of personalities in the dressing room, so got rid of him. I think at the end of that season, I think he only spent about 1 or 2 seasons with Chelsea at most, and he didn't actually get much game time, if I remember rightly.
No, he didn't. And you're right. It's a shame because I think he had potential. It's a shame. 2 other guys that he did bring in was Scott Sinclair and Del Horno. Now, do you remember Del Horno?
Del Horno was good. I like Del Horno, but I wouldn't put him in the top,
of course.
Top signings. I think it was a good signing, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't put him in the top ones.
I think, you know, sorry to interrupt, I think it kind of shows you the difference. You know, this year, funny enough, about transfers, we weren't doing enough, you know, and stood still. I think back then, because we were so dominant, I remember that transfer window, Del Horno was basically one of the only players we signed. We brought back Crespo, who we'd sent back on loan because he was kind of feeling, he didn't play the 04 or 05 season, we brought him back for the 05 or 06 season. You know, I remember Del Horno, you know, was kind of one of those players that we just brought in, you know, played well. I thought he kind of got. I remember Messi getting him sent off in the first leg of a Champions League game and kind of diving around.
That was horrible.
The horrible diving, you know, from Messi. And, you know, if anyone ever tells me that Lionel Messi never dives, you know, a plain example there.
What is it Mourinho called it in the press conference in Spanish? Teatro.
Yeah.
Like theatre. Messi's really good at theatre.
Messi, if you go back and watch that tape, like it was barely anything anyway. It was barely anything. It was a collision of 2 players, barely anything. You just see if it was in the halfway line, nothing would be done. But of course, Messi rolls around like all Barca players do, rolls around, you know, like has his, and then he actually stops and peaks, and it's the most blatant thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, peaks, almost like peaks, like too much, like. You know, and the referee, of course, UEFA Lona, you know, gets the red card out for Del Horno, you know. Also, what I want to bring up as a record, which I think is probably quite a stupid one, but one thing I noticed was Barcelona in that time, most of the times we played them, have not been able to beat us in 90 minutes without us getting a red card.
True.
You know, in the 04 or 05 leg we had against them. The one time that isn't the case was, of course, back when Zola, we had the 3-0 lead, and then they beat us in the second leg. Of course, you can pick up that time, but in the current, like Chelsea in the last kind of 10 years, that Drogba got sent off in the 04 or 05 leg, and but then when we all had 11 men on the pitch, we usually beat them or we draw, you know, so that kind of shows you. And it was kind of ironic when we beat them in 2012 that we had 10 men on the pitch and we still able to get a draw against them. So that's maybe a stat that people look at in terms of beating us in 90 minutes. You know, they were never really able to beat us in 90 minutes unless we had a player sent off.
True. No, that is true, and obviously that's half the point of where UEFA Lona comes from, because they always seem to try and do something to give Barcelona the edge or the advantage. So, you know, it's unfortunate.
Should we go back to the players, because I feel like we're hating on Barcelona quite a lot right now. I know we had that. I know we got quite annoyed about it, but you know, I just think, you know, let's draw a line to that and let's move on underneath.
Well,
so,
obviously after that season we had Ashley Cole, who came to the club. 06-07, beginning of that year, Ashley Cole moved from the Invincibles at the time over to us.
Lol.
Lol. But yeah, Ashley Cole, legendary player, probably our best left back of all time.
Claudio Pizarro and Steven Sidwell, don't forget those two. He got them on a free. Whoa!
Oh, you know, I actually thought, I remember when Pizarro came, I thought he would actually do well.
I did as well, because he did really well in Germany, didn't he? I remember
exactly.
Dad saying he's going to do really well. And
do you know we bought Malouda that summer as well. And I remember the first game of the season we were playing Birmingham. Sorry, I'm really good with like scores and stuff from old matches, but I think we beat Birmingham like 3-2. I think Forsell came back and scored against us on the first game of the season for Birmingham, and I remember both Pizarro and Malouda scored the first 2 goals of that game. I think Essien scored the third one, if I remember rightly. But I mean, I remember thinking, yeah, these are 2 good strikers we brought in. You know, Malouda as well. Pizarro, of course, never really did anything. Malouda kind of blew hot and cold. You know, he'd have. I remember 2008-9 was an awful season for him. I remember it got to as bad as Chelsea fans booing him, which rarely happens with Chelsea fans. We rarely boo players like as much as we did Malouda. But I remember being away at a Portsmouth game that we won 1-0. Terrible weather, and he was just absolutely awful that game. Just rubbish against one of the worst teams in the league. He was just absolutely awful, and you know his performances were dropping. But I think the season after that, when we won the league, he kind of picked up his performances again. So you know he was kind of up and down as a signing. You know.
Yeah, that is true. You know, I think Malouda was. I don't know. Who did sign Malouda?
It wasn't Mourinho. I've got the stats up here.
It was just after, wasn't it?
It was after he came in 07-08 with De Santo, Ivanovic, Anelka, Belletti, and Malouda. Well, no, actually, hold on. No, excuse me, I might be wrong. It's difficult to tell
because I don't know. Did Malouda make it that summer just before Jose left?
Yeah. He bought Malouda, Pizarro, and Giuliano Belletti. He bought
sorry, I'm looking at the thing we were looking at the other night, and I don't think it's very good.
I just got a question. On Twitter from, I think his name's Andy at You Want Some. He tweeted at me saying, in their prime, he said, would you have Carvalho or Ivanovic?
Carvalho.
I'd probably say I love Branner, but I'd probably say Carvalho because I think the work he done alongside JT
was phenomenal.
Absolutely immense. But then, I mean, Ivanovic now has won 2 titles, you know, the same amount as Carvalho had won for Chelsea. Oh, actually, no. Was Carvalho here in 2010 when we won it? I think he was. I think he was still a Chelsea player.
Carvalho.
I swear he was still here in 2010. Oh, crap. I'm trying to think.
Yes, he was.
So he's sorry. I've got that stat.
He left during the 2010-2011 season.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, Carvalho's got more league titles, but you know, it's very tough. Branner's done a lot for Chelsea. I know at the moment it's very easy to be down on Branner, but it's also, I think it's a bit stupid to lose perspective on what Ivanovic has done and how amazing a player he's been for Chelsea over a long period of time. You know, and how he's absolutely adapted into a Chelsea player through and through. You know, he is. I mean, as Chelsea as they come, and you know, he's Russian. He can barely speak a word of English. You know, still. I mean, his English is not that good, but he's still. I mean, he is one of our own, really. And I know people will go, well, he's not English, but to me, what he's done for Chelsea, you know, he is as much Chelsea as the next person. You know, what he's done for the club. But Carvalho, just because of what he did in that, because I still think, even with last year, I still think the 0405 team is the best Chelsea team I've seen.
Yeah.
In my time supporting Chelsea.
Oh, 0405 or 0506, did you say?
0405. I still go over 0405. I'm a little bit nostalgic about that year. I'd still go, no. And also, the 0506 season, we only won the Premier League. We were worse, actually, in terms of, we got knocked out in the League Cup in the first round to Charlton on penalties. We got knocked out in the knockout round to Barcelona in 0506. We actually made it better in the FA Cup. We still got knocked out in the semi-final by Liverpool. If you look at it, I'd still class 0405 as a better season because we got further in the Champions League. The ghost goal kind of screwed us over on that one. We won the Premier League dominantly. We won the League Cup alongside that. Didn't have the best FA Cup run, but still, I'd still class 0405 as a better year. Probably just because of the development of Lampard, development of Terry, the way we won, and it was the first time we won the league in 50 years. So I personally put the 0405 team. You know, it's very tough. You know, I think I just try and be. I'm very nostalgic about that year, about the kit we wore. I still love that kit. You know, I think maybe it's just nostalgia from my point of view, but last year was good as well. I mean, I think people underrate what we did last year. What we did last year was 0405, like when we thought for years that was never going to happen because the quality of the league was so high that we were able to just dominate a league for like literally nearly a whole season, you know, literally stay on top of the league. And actually, if you look at the stats, you know, we were actually better last season in terms of when we were top than we were in 0405.
Yeah, it's true. I think that year anyway, we were the best team in Europe.
I'd agree with that. I mean, the way Arsenal fans talk about the Invincibles, you know, we got more points clean sheet. We had more clean sheets, better goal difference. You know, we across the whole board we were much better. But I'd agree with that 04-05 team. I think that was a really, really, really good Chelsea team.
It was. It definitely was. Fingers crossed we reach that level again.
also, I think the thing was, and I think it's kind of left now, is you always knew going into games at Chelsea, if they went a goal ahead, you're going to win. And the players themselves, Joe Cole, Frank Lampard, John Terry, talks about this at the time of 04 and 05, talk about how the development of the team and how Jose got them into this mentality that you just went into every game thinking we're going to win. We're going to win. And what was it? They only lost about, I think about 3 games in that season, if I remember rightly. Am I right on that one? About three or 4 games. I remember we might have lost a game to Porto in the Champions League.
We lost 1 in every competition. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, no, we did lose 2. We did lose, actually, I think we lost 3 in the Champions League, if I remember rightly. Am I right on that one? And people have to, because I do remember losing to Porto in the group stage of the Champions League in that season. I also remember maybe losing the second leg to Bayern, 3-2. But no, you just look at that team. I mean, they would always go out and dominate. You know, the fact of the confidence that from Chelsea fans at that period of time, where when we went to go up, you thought we ain't losing this game. That's it. No. Games, and I don't think we've ever had that confidence back. I think it kind of got established at the start of last year, but the team that played last year was so different to the team that played in 04 and 05. Both brilliant football teams, but played different styles in a way. So it's very hard to compare the 2 teams in truth.
Oh, it's just a shame that ghost goal. Because if it wasn't for that ghost goal, I'm sure we would have won the Champions League that year.
I completely agree. I think we could have been within a shout. But I mean,
for Luis Garcia.
You know, let's be honest. It's history. It happened. We've won the Champions League. You know.
That's true. That's true. But obviously, after all of that, Jose came back to Chelsea after a long period away, and he brought in another class of players. And some of these players include Matic, for one, bringing him back to Chelsea, even though Matic was at Chelsea beforehand. And others, we had Willian, was bought by Mourinho. Schürrle was bought by Mourinho. Samuel Eto'o, even though I'm not sure he's going to make the list. You know. And after that, you have to look at what he brought with Fabregas, Diego Costa. He brought Didier back, even though we've mentioned Didier. Felipe Luis, Remy Cuadrado. I mean, I've got to say, even in his second time, he's brought in some epic signings.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Definitely.
But I mean, it's so hard to take all of these players and rank them. Now we have to come up with a top 5. All right, and I'm gonna list and see if you agree with me. If you think I've missed anyone out. Okay. Players that make the cut. Okay, the shortlist for top 5 includes Iron Robin.
Yeah.
Drogba.
Yeah, definitely.
Carvalho. Balak. The Lord. The Lord. Essien. Ashley Cole. Malouda doesn't really cut it. Because Malouda got booed a lot. Fabregas. Costa. Who have I missed? I've missed someone.
Willian's good call.
I mean, have I missed anyone out on that short list? Matic? Or do you think he's not established yet?
I don't think he's as established as Makalele.
Could I give a quick shout out to someone on Twitter who's asked for a shout out? BK Beats at BSlim22. He asked me to give him a shout out, so I gave him a shout out. So thanks for your support, mate. Can I give my top 4? I'm gonna give my top 4 because I think my 5 is kind of undecided. And this will probably some people will be in disagreement about this. My 5 personally, Jose Mourinho signings, would be Arjen Robben, Didier Drogba, Diego Costa, Ashley Cole. The 5th would be between Essien and Matic. So I'm going to take that to the comments. I want you guys in the comments to decide. Just put the word either Essien or Matic and the most will be my fifth player. Or tweet me that, either Essien or Matic.
That's true. Well, I mean, sorry, just to mention really quick, people mentioning Zuma. Yes, Mourinho did buy Zuma. Well, Mourinho did get Zuma to Chelsea. He did. But Zuma's obviously we know he's not going to make top 5. So no, I'm not gonna put him in. Who knows? Maybe in about 5 or 6 years' time, he'll probably be one of the best signings ever. Who knows? But not now. That's a good call, Louis. Who would your top 5 be?
Top 5. Oh Christ. Well, Didier's going to be in there, definitely.
Yeah.
With the list I've got here, I'm going to have sugar, right? Okay, right. Can I do 2 top 5s? Can I do the first stint and then the second stint?
What do you mean?
Like, sort of, I don't know. I can't put it all in because like you're saying, they're so different. I can't put them into a top 5. That's sort of. Could I do a split sort of between the first stint he was here and the second stint?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Go for it.
Okay, right. My top 5 then for the first stint.
So 04 to 07.
Yeah. So I'm Robin.
Yep.
Drogba.
Yep.
Carvalho.
Yep.
I want to put Mikel in for Bance, but I just can't. He's actually.
Mikel, I think is that guy. I think Mikel's 6th. If we did the top 6, Mikel would be 6th.
The Lord on the chat's not getting. He's very angry with me. I have a feeling.
I'm sorry, Lord Mikel. I'm very sorry.
I'm gonna have to do a rain dance in a minute. Matilde. No, she's my number 1. Okay, Robin, Drogba, Essien,
Yeah.
Carvalho.
Okay.
I'm trying to spread it out so you have one of every position, if you know what I mean. So you got no. I mean, not every position, but you sort of got a goalkeeper, a defender, a winger, a midfielder, and a striker.
So you want a 5-a-side team?
mate, my team was awful. I need a 5-a-side team.
Okay.
Let's put in Paulo Ferreira for his professionalism.
Oh, fair play to him.
Just
Lord Mikel's going to be pissed.
Right.
If you put Ferreira ahead of him, he's going to be on 1.
Oh, I've just found a thing. Mourinho did some Malouda, just because when we were having that debate, I know we established it, but I just thought I'd like to put it out there again. Okay, right. Second one.
Yeah.
In terms of what signings he'd already made, sort of established players, and how they're playing now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go as he was when he was at Chelsea. I thought he was excellent. I'm going to put Schürrle in there. I thought he was a quality pie. Schürrle, Willian, Matic, I might put in there. I think from what we did with him, I think that'll work. You're just like your face like Louis. Just get on with it, but this takes time. This takes time.
No, I mean, so what do you think? I have to mention the comments, mate. Everyone's going off on you because you have sinned.
Why have I sinned? What have I done?
You have sinned because the Lord Mikel is very angry with you right now. You have sinned.
I'm just going to put my thinking hat on. Hold on, give me a minute. Right. Schürrle, Willian, Matic, and I know he sold Schürrle, which I've just seen one in the comments. I know he sold him. I'm Sean Connery now.
He sold him. Yeah.
He sold him. I'm Sean Connery. Jesus. I know he sold him, but I thought he did really, really, really well. Willian is a quality signing with what he's done. I thought he's done excellently. Matic, excellent last season. This season he hasn't had a great start, but I think that's mainly down to Fabregas, who I would put in here, but I think he's been playing awful. So I'm going to put in, because he's actually done something this season, and I know he's only scored 1 goal or a couple, I'm putting Costa in there.
Okay.
And then based across how he played last season and how he played against City, I'm putting Begovic in. I think he's going to do really well. I think he's a quality signing.
All right. Well,
So I have that goalkeeper, so I've got that balance. That's the only reason he's in.
the Lord is ashamed with you.
I don't understand why I'm not number one.
All right, I'm gonna set things straight. I'm gonna be the guy who brings light to this conversation. Mikel. Okay, Mikel doesn't get in my top 5. I'm sorry, but he gets like that. You know, at an award ceremony, you get that guy with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mhm.
Who doesn't really count, but
Yeah.
he's there with a special
Yeah.
recognition. That's Mikel. So you do get something, Mikel. You get the 100% Chelsea Lifetime Achievement Award. Well done, Lord Mikel. There we are. He just said, you're a snake. The amount of times I've drove the effing bus. Quality.
Do I look like Raheem Sterling? Do I look like Fabian Delph?
Anyway, okay, top 5, and this is all time. I'm not gonna do what you've done, Louis, and split it. I'm gonna go proper top 5. Okay, at number 5. This is hard. Okay, at number 5, I am going with Carvalho.
He's the rock in the middle of our five-a-side team, yeah?
I'm going with Carvalho.
Have you seen Mikel? I'm effing crashing this bus.
Mate, I think it's already been crashed. You don't, you know, if you want to do anything, please help repair it. Carvalho in at number 5. At number 4, Carvalho's just been that beast, and I think till now, till today, I think he's been John Terry's best ever partner at centre back.
Carvalho, yeah.
So, yeah, he definitely gets into number 5. Number 4, I have to give to Essien.
Yeah, definitely.
Essien, I have to, because again, he revolutionised the Makelele role. I think that defensive mid, Essien took it to a next level, and again, what a pro, a proper professional.
Yeah.
You know, he was always serious. He was always hungry. He was actually a really, really good boy. You know, in terms of like off the pitch, but when he's on the pitch, the guy is a beast. So, Essien. Number 3. Right. Oh, Iron Robin. Iron Robin, because, again, what baffles me, imagine if he was still at Chelsea. I mean, you look at the level he was at when he was at Chelsea, and you look at him now, and he just hasn't changed, but he's aged. You know, how old is he now? Like 32?
But he looks about 60, mate.
He looks, yeah, but he just hasn't changed. From the moment he was at Chelsea in, like, what, 2006 or 2007, until now, 2015, the guy's remained the same. So, incredible. But at his time at Chelsea, he did a lot. Him and Duff were epic together on the wings. Epic. So, I have to go with Robin. If you remember Robin during the FA Cup final 2007, quality game he had. Quality game. Just to let you guys know, if Lampard and Terry were signed by Mourinho, they'd be 1 and 2 together with Drogba as well. But they weren't. They were already there before, so I can't put them in this list. Number 2, Ashley Cole, because he's been through everything with us. Even after Mourinho left, he's been through everything. He's been, you know, the guy up until the Champions League final, before he eventually called it a day. He's won everything with us. He's been the best left back in the world while with us, and I don't think England have another left back like Ashley Cole.
I agree with that. Okay, yeah, no, definitely Ashley Cole.
So Ashley Cole.
I'm going to stick him in ahead of Ferreira in mine, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Quality. And number 1, Number one by far, by a mile and a half, goes to the king.
Didier Drogba. La 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 la.
Didier Drogba goes at number one because from the moment he stepped into the club, Mourinho said, "Don't judge him now, judge him when he leaves." And that was said in 2004. And in 2012 he left, and he left a legend. He left as a legend. He did everything perfectly. His last kick of the game won us the Champions League. His last kick in the Chelsea shirt won us the Champions League. He's won titles with us. He's won FA Cups. He's won the Champions League. He's won Carling Cups. He's got 5 goals in the finals. He's got goals in semis. He's got goals in important games. He's done everything. He's done everything. And I want to mention his link up with Lampard was probably the best link up, or one of the best link ups between a midfielder and a striker in world football ever. Lampard and Drogba. So Drogba goes in at number one. I don't know. Do all of you agree with that? I'm getting people in the comments saying, what about Ben Haim? What about Scott Sinclair?
So we're doing the worst signings now. Okay, Scott Sinclair, Ben Haim. Don't even get me started. God, Ben Haim. What sort of, I never understood that signing. I didn't get it.
Ben Haim.
And actually, it wasn't even Mourinho that signed him. It was Avram Grant in the January window. He signed him and Anelka from Bolton.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't surprised when he brought Ben Haim.
No, Ben Haim was signed in the summer transfer window because I remember him playing a pre-season game against Club America.
Yeah.
God, what my facts are so off. I'm so tired. I don't know what's going on today.
But
Today's not been a good day.
Do you agree with that top five? Carvalho, Essien, Robben, Ashley Cole, Didier Drogba. Daniel?
Essien, Carvalho, Ashley Cole, Didier Drogba, and Robben.
It's a pretty good top five, I believe. I mean, it's very tough because, as I've said, there are so many players that he signed that are just brilliant. So it's very tough to kind of sorry, my phone's going off. To kind of pick five, but I mean, I'd have a slight variation. As I said, I have Robben, Drogba, Costa, Cohen, and Essien because I've kind of decided Essien. I think Matic still has a lot to do at Chelsea, so I'll put Essien because his time at Chelsea's over. I mean, any top
he's in prison,
including so tough to leave a player like Essien out.
No, definitely. I mean, I want to. Exactly. I want to include players of today, like Costa, like William, like Fabregas, but as good as they are, and as good as we know they are, even though they're not performing right now, they just haven't hit that status yet. I can't put them in top five with people like Drogba and Essien and Ashley Cole, because these are legends. These are Chelsea legends forever, and these guys of today still have a few seasons before they can even think about hitting that sort of status. They've hit that level. I think we've got some of the best players in the world, but they haven't hit that legendary status, and that takes time. So they have work to do. They have work to do. Louis, would you go with that?
I would agree with that. Sorry, I had to go off then. I had the warden walking down. So I have to be a bit quieter now, so
No problem. No worries. But I mean, that's top five for us. Your comments. Let's get to your comments. Let us know who you think should get into this top five. What would your top fives be? Is there anyone you think we've missed out? Funnily enough, people were trolling and put Adrian Mutu. I mean, Mutu the cokehead. Do you remember Mutu?
Yeah, I do remember Mutu. Don't even get me started. He still owes us money, doesn't he?
He still owes us money. He does. How much? Do you know?
I'll look it up now. Hold on.
Unbelievable. Mutu, to this day, when did he leave? Like in 2000 I remember he had the whole scandal, and then he left.
It was I believe it was at the start of the 04-05 season. He didn't play at all at that start, so they barely played him at all.
No.
And then he left, and of course you had the whole kind of debacle, as you call it, and of course I've
got here 21st of January, which is the last time it was reported. It's the most searched thing. Chelsea suffer 40 million blows. Adrian Mutu cash bid fails. Juventus have claimed they will not pay Chelsea compensation if Adrian Mutu case after having appeal held by the Court of Apparition of Sport. So he owes us 40 million, but we're not going to get it.
Mutu owes us 40 million. Wow. I mean, he can pay for Pogba. If he just gives us 40 million.
We'll forgive you if you pay for Pogba.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, but then Pogba will come in. He'll be the guy who brings Pogba off the plane and go, "Oh, mate, do you want some coke?" Or he'll go, "Do you want some talcum powder?"
Right, the Lord Mikel. I'm sure this is as a joke for us not really picking him, and we're sorry, but I gave you the Lifetime Achievement Award. He said Hector and Gillo Boggi. No, they don't make the top 5, I'm afraid.
We should give him this Sports Direct mug or this mug as Lifetime Achievement Award. For all the times you park the bus, I'm going to drink out of this in your honour. I'm going to have a nice cup of rosy out of this, and then
Well done. You get Mike Ashley's teacup. Apparently, I've just seen this. Dagmari has put in the comments, breaking news: Eva might sue Chelsea.
I sent you an email with that.
I'm not sure how sure or how true that is.
Independent
she is still at the club.
Yeah, but the independent reporter she's suing. I sent you the link in an email.
What's he gonna sue Chelsea for? Not getting picked. I don't understand. What are you going? She goes to the court. She goes to the judge. I want to sue Chelsea. Sure. What for? Don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but then Chelsea can just bring up, I guess, financial unprofessionalism. Not financial. Jesus Christ, I'm so tired. Just bring up unprofessionalism. I don't know why I said financial. Something is not right with me today. But they'll just bring up unprofessionalism because she slept with a player. So,
yeah, but is that true as well? I doubt it.
I don't know.
I've not seen that from any kind of reliable kind of places that I read. That I know people have brought it up to me. I think Tony said it on here before, and I don't really believe it. And it's all from I don't even think somewhere like the Sun have reported it, and that kind of shows you if even they aren't reporting it, it's just not true.
Yeah.
Because even if it's if the Sun were reporting it, then of course it wouldn't be true. But I don't know what. Even if a paper like that just craves for stories like that all the time aren't reporting it, then you just know there's nothing to it.
Exactly. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. Don't get me wrong. Who knows? You never know. A rumor always starts from somewhere. So, we'll wait and see. But I doubt that. As long as she's still at the club, I think if she gets fired or she leaves Chelsea, then we have a chance of her going in for a case. But not while she's at the club. I doubt that. Mark Lapena has put Drogba, Ashley Cole, Essien, Makalele, Carvalho. Now, Makalele would make that list, but it wasn't Mourinho who signed him, so he's exempt. We can't put him in. But I do agree he's definitely deserves top 5 Chelsea players.
You would say that there were a load of players that were bought by Ranieri who were actually made by Jose.
Yeah,
if that makes sense, not knocking Ranieri. I think for what he done for Chelsea, signing Frank Lampard,
he had good intentions.
No one hates, no one has a bad word to say about Ranieri, and I remember his time fondly at Chelsea. I mean, it was the first season he was the manager of Chelsea. The first season I was a supporter when I was 5. So I think there's nothing really to be critical about, but Jose came in and was able to adapt players to become winners, and that's what we needed at that time with the investment we were having in the club and where Roman wanted the club to go. So that's why I think people were mistaking it, because you probably remember in your head about those players where they actually had their best kind of form, and what you remember them for is probably their years with Jose.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Ranieri brought in a lot of players that, as you said, Mourinho made. So that's true, and I would include them in the list, but we can't because it was Ranieri who brought them, not Jose. Right, a lot of people saying here about about Eva, making comments about Eva, saying that the legal action will be because she's been frozen out of the first team. I mean, that's just pointless case. The judge will look at that and laugh and be like, "Go home, darling." Like, I'm sorry, but you have no case. Right. Mourinho also signed Alex. Did he? Did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think he
He
actually
did.
thinking about
He
it.
did. Yes, he did.
Hold
I
on,
remember.
hold on. You sure?
He did. He did.
Yeah,
I
he
remember
did.
the picture with Alex and the top and Mourinho. It was just before Mourinho left. That's a good one. Again, that's a player that Mourinho bought but didn't make. See, it's the reverse. Because he'd already left the club. But everyone seems content. Ben Beckett says, "Does anybody remember Manish?" I do.
Yep, I remember. I
Yeah.
remember Manish. I remember him getting a red card against West Ham. I remember we beat West Ham 4-1 that day, and I remember him getting a red card. He kind of flew into a challenge, and that's the most I remember of him. He was a bit like Yuri Arazic, if anyone remembers him.
Yeah.
That's a player I always bring up of if you remember Yuri Arazic, because he was brought in a bit like Manish, was brought in, played about half a season, didn't do much, and then was sold in the following transfer window.
You know, Manish was a very surprising one, and I was surprised he left Chelsea when he did, and it didn't really work out for him because Manish was a major factor in Porto's success under Mourinho.
Also, he was a major factor in one player that I want to bring up as well. Who remembers Alexi Smertin?
Oh yes, Merton.
Scored against Porto in the first Champions League group game, the second Champions League group game, which was Jose's first Champions League game at home at Stamford Bridge, was against Porto, of course, and Smertin scored the first goal. He came back. Didn't he come back at the end of last year? Because they brought back most of the team from 04-05, didn't they, at the Sunderland game last year?
Mm.
Oh yes, they did. Yeah. Except I think Smerton was there. You're right. Do you Kalu says Manish scored a worldie at Euro 2004. Yeah, that's true.
He was also key in World Cup 2006 for Portugal. He was very key in their squad. So
He was.
I don't think he fit in there. I don't think anyone's sitting there going, "Why did we sell Manish?"
Yeah, of course.
I bet a lot of people just don't know who he is.
Of course. Zachariah says Steve Sidwell, Ginger Man. Do you remember Sidwell?
Sidwell, a central midfielder, yeah, and this kind of annoys me, and I don't know why, and it probably annoys me why a central midfielder gets the number 9 shirt.
Yeah, that is true. That
Makes no sense. It's when you see players get like the F2 for Everton for some reason got the number 5 shirt. I don't know if it's a European thing, but I just don't think you give players numbers like. Why isn't number 9 in midfield? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's true. It don't make sense.
I know it's a stupid thing to say, but I don't like it personally. It looks wrong.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But that's been top 5. Again, comments. Thank you for everyone who's left comments. Last one before we go off air. And we mentioned about Matic and Fabregas and Costa and all that. Someone who to make a future this could be Pedro.
Was this /Graffiti's comment that Pedro's better than Schürrle?
Well, yeah, I see that now. But yeah, Pedro was actually brought up before as well. So
yeah, okay, but okay, so yeah, he could be a good sign, but the question is, he might not. He's played 2 games. I don't understand. Pedro's better than Schürrle. Yeah, okay, he's great. Spanish league, he's great, and he's proven it. He's good, but can he prove it at Chelsea? You can't say he's a great Chelsea signing or one of the great signings. Of
course, yeah.
If he hasn't proven himself yet.
But it's just like the other way around when you see a player and they don't instantly perform in 2 games, and then people I see calling him going, what a waste of a signing, and you've seen him for not even a full game, and you're making that assumption already.
Well, do you remember a good example of that?
Give me a good example of that.
Didier.
I remember people going, because actually, fun enough, a lot of Didier's first year, that 04-05, wasn't actually a brilliant year for him. He had injury problems. Yeah. He struggled, scored about 10 goals, I believe, which in comparison,
pretty average.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look that good. I mean, so that's why I think 10 years ago, even now, I mean, people go, maybe recent, but I think it's a long time in football. and a lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
Louis, you were saying earlier on about getting players on the back of your shirt. I think nowadays, unless it's a player that you can pretty much be certain that they're going to stay for the, any player that's on the fringe of the team that's not a first team regular, you can't call a first team regular. It's why I see a lot of people now don't buy calendars. I remember as a kid when I was like 6 or 7 buying the Chelsea calendar and you'd have all the players in there.
Yeah.
Nowadays you just can't do that because players get sold in January. 2 or 3 players could get sold in January, and you're flipping through the calendar and there's about 2 or 3 players in there, even more, who are not Chelsea players anymore, because that's the way football is now. It's such a quick, maybe fickle game that kind of changes week by week, and if a player doesn't perform within the first couple of games, he could be out the door by the next transfer window. And as harsh as that sounds, that's what it feels like at the moment, which I'm not a big fan of, because I think players should be given more of a chance a lot of the time. I look at some players and I think they should be given more of a chance. You shouldn't judge them on 2 games, especially if they've come from a foreign country into a new game. I think you've got to judge them over a period of time. You can't judge them off. It's like Costa, for instance, had a brilliant start to his Chelsea career, but that doesn't mean he's the best striker in the Premier League of all time.
Of course not. No.
We've got to look at what he does at his time at Chelsea, which hopefully will be 5 or 6 years, and then we can judge at the end of that. That's what you've got to do. You can't judge someone over either way, whether you think they're terrible or you think they're the best player Chelsea have ever signed. I think it's just too fickle, in my opinion.
Fully agree. Louis, any last thoughts?
On what we've picked here,
yeah,
I think that's pretty solid top 5 signings. They'd definitely be my 5-side team. Win my league. They're definitely be in our team, Eunice, in December. But I think it's all pretty solid what's happened, and may the good signings carry on coming in. See players like if Rahman and Pedro prove themselves, which I think they will. I'm 100% certain that they will. I think Pedro's got that direct football we were talking about. He can pass, he can shoot. He can play anywhere across that front 3. He can play up front if we need him to. And Rahman's just solid left back. And let's not forgetting players like Michael Hector, Dillabodji. They could do well. Dillabodji was. Someone sent me the stats the other day. I'm getting mixed reviews as well. Where we were saying we're not 100% certain. Where people are saying he was rubbish last season, people saying he was actually quite good.
Yeah.
I saw he made the most interceptions in the French league last season. He made 101 interceptions. 101.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
And I reckon he could be that guy to sort out that midfield problem because he can play there. So it'd be interesting to see him play there. But quality signings.
He looks like a good versatility player.
Yeah.
You can play him in several positions. I bet he could be used if we have some sort of injury problem, if Jose needs to switch around the team, maybe bring him in certain games. He's a good player to have as I will continue to say, and I guess I've probably said this over 100 times on these streams, since the Dillabodji signing. It's all about the timing of these signings. If Dillabodji would have been signed, if all of our signings would have been done before pre-season, I think everyone would have been looking at our signings going, yeah, that's pretty decent. Maybe there are some areas where we could have strengthened, but say if we were going in for John Stones and it can get him before pre-season and went in for Paul Pogba, I think no one would be actually having a go because we've made the signings before pre-season. I think it was the fact that we had a poor start to the season and the fact we stood still. I think if Dillabodji, in perspective, I think can be a good utility player. He isn't a first-team player. Could surprise me. But I think, he could be a good signing to bring in certain games, like a Premier League game, maybe to shut down a game. He could be used in that.
Yeah. No, fair play. But there we are. That has been Daily Blues for tonight. We've hit the hour mark. Thank you for all your comments. The Mikel jokes are still flying in as usual. So keep them coming. Daniel, Louis, thank you for joining tonight and giving your thoughts. Be sure to follow those guys on Twitter. Follow Daniel, aka Son of Chelsea. His Twitter is @Son of Chelsea. YouTube as well, Son of Chelsea. Check it out. Louis is Twitter @Louis the Boogaloo. YouTube is to be confirmed. We all know it will be. As for myself, or 100% Chelsea, check out all the social media links in the description below. Follow my other channel, Eunice HH, if you haven't seen it already. And we will see you guys tomorrow for another edition of Daily Blues. Leave us more comments and suggestions in terms of what you want us to talk about in terms of these discussions. Be sure to know a preview for the Chelsea-Everton game will be done. A few collabs in terms of, well, we're going to combine a few videos with ourselves and Toffee TV. So be sure to have an eye on that before the Chelsea-Everton game, which should be out probably about tomorrow, I reckon, or Friday. So be sure to check those out. And all of us will see you tomorrow for more Daily Blue. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you are new, and you guys can say goodbye and good night. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Night. See ya.